Welcome to the Haunt Vault, where secrets unravel and dark intentions come to light. In tonight's twisted tale, Happy Wife, Happy Life, we follow a man whose meticulous mind for details leads him down a path of deception and betrayal. What begins as suspicion over his wife's strange behavior soon turns into a dangerous game of control. But as the pieces fall into place, the lines between victim and villain blur, and the final twist will leave you questioning who truly held the upper hand. Get ready for a story where trust turns toxic and revenge takes a chilling form. This is the Haunt Vault, where the most unsettling stories are the ones that feel all too real.
I always thought I had a knack for picking up on the subtle signs. You know, the small hints that people usually miss or shrug off. Maybe it's because of my background in engineering. I'm used to analyzing data, finding patterns, making sense of things. I've spent years designing systems where even the tiniest flaw could mean disaster, so noticing details has become second nature to me. That's why when I started picking up on little inconsistencies with Anna, my wife of 10 years, it was like a flickering light that wouldn't go out. It was the kind of light you try to ignore, hoping it will just burn out on its own, but it never does. It just keeps flashing, demanding your attention. Anna was always glued to her phone. At first, I didn't think much of it. Everyone's attached to their devices nowadays. She'd scroll mindlessly, tap away at text messages, browse social media. But then it became obsessive. She'd take it everywhere, the kitchen, the bathroom, even to bed. It was annoying but hardly alarming. But one day, something changed. It was an ordinary morning, and she had left her phone on the nightstand before heading to the shower. That was unusual. Anna never left her phone unattended. I stared at the device, my mind racing. A sense of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. I told myself I wasn't going to look. I wasn't that kind of husband. But something drew me to it. I grabbed her phone and unlocked it easily. She had forgotten to change the default password. And that's when I saw it. A dating app, sitting there innocently among her other apps. I froze, my mind buzzing with confusion and anger. A knot tightened in my chest as I opened the app and scrolled through her profile. The self-description made my blood run cold. Adventurous spirit seeking like-minded soul. My favorite part was where she mentioned, enjoying spontaneous rendezvous. Adventurous? Since when? My stomach twisted, anger rising like bile. I couldn't believe it. But I wasn't just going to confront her. I wanted to see how deep this went. So I created a fake profile, tailored to exactly what I knew would catch her eye. And it did. She responded quickly, too quickly. Over the next few days, I played the part of her secret admirer, chatting her up, luring her into this game I had designed. The more we talked, the more sickened I became by her responses. She was all in, throwing herself into this fantasy world while sitting right across the dinner table from me, pretending everything was normal. There were other signs, of course. New dresses hanging in her closet. Her makeup was always on point now, perfectly applied even on days when she said she was working late. There was the yearly gym membership she'd signed up for, her sudden urge to get back in shape, and all the social getaways with her girlfriends, weekends away, late work calls, mysterious outings. It all added up, each piece a glaring clue I could no longer ignore. The moment came when we arranged a date. Me as her mysterious new suitor, her as the cheating wife, oblivious to the fact that her husband was the one behind the messages. It felt like a twisted joke. I told her we should meet for coffee and she agreed, excitement practically leaping through her words. On the day of the meetup, I made sure to give her my blessing for her girls' night out. We both knew it wasn't a night with the girls. I kissed her on the cheek, watching her eyes glint with anticipation. I told her to have fun, smiled as if nothing was wrong, and waited for the real fun to begin. I arrived early, positioning myself in a corner of the cafe, half hidden but with a clear view of the room. Anna came in a little later, dressed in a way that made me laugh inside. She was trying too hard. For who? For a guy who didn't even exist? But then he arrived, a young guy with curly hair and that smug look some guys have when they think they're getting away with something. He looked so real, almost too real, as if I had conjured him perfectly. I wasn't expecting that. My chest tightened as I watched them interact, wondering what they were talking about. Did he use better jokes? Was it the same ones she'd laughed at when we were talking? Her face lit up when he spoke, her eyes practically glued to him. Was she really that taken by him? I sat there, questioning everything as they whispered to each other, her hand brushing his. After a while, they got up and walked out together. I followed them with my eyes, trying to make sense of it all. And then they disappeared into the night. I waited. A day passed, then two, but Anna never returned. I started to get worried. I called her phone, nothing. I sent a few texts, no reply. Panic crept in, and after trying her friends, I finally called the police. My wife didn't come home after her night out, I told them, my voice shaking. She was with friends, but I haven't heard from her since. They came, took my statement, asked questions, and noted everything down. I didn't know what to say. She just didn't come back. Friends reached out and neighbors whispered, but no one had any answers. A few days later, as I sat at the breakfast table, drinking my coffee, I opened the newspaper, and there she was. Local woman still missing after 4 days. Her face stared back at me, frozen in time. I looked at her picture, and a slow smile tugged at the corners of my mouth. Missing? I murmured, almost laughing. I don't think so. I folded the paper, the smile still on my face. She had wanted adventure, and I had given it to her. The thrill, the escape, everything she had been seeking. I leaned back in my chair, a strange sense of calm settling over me. I missed her, sure, but she was too adventurous to stay in one place for long, always seeking something more. Maybe even her new lover couldn't handle her spirit. What she wanted wasn't just excitement, it was the ultimate. And I guess, in the end, she finally found it.
Thanks for venturing into the Haunt Vault, where every story holds a dark secret waiting to be revealed. If tonight's tale left you questioning the ones closest to you, don't worry, you're not alone. Remember, sometimes it's the smallest details that lead to the darkest truths. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next chilling descent into the unknown. And as always, sleep with one eye open, because you never know who's watching. Until next time, stay haunted.